Vandeyam Shri Guru Shri Yatha Parakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Sya Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Saganaragunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sabadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devo Shri Radha Krishna Paran Sahagana Lalita Shivishkam Vitam Sya Om Agyana Timaranda Shihagyana Jana Shilakaya Chakshurum Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Gurva Bishtam Supurakam Gurganarasi Shasambhushitam Chincha Chincha Samasta Vedinipanam Shri Rupa Patanagam Govindabidam Ujwalam Bharatanum Bhaktyan Vidam Sundaram Bande Vishwaguruncha Divyad Bhagavat Prem Noe Vijay Pradam Devam Divyatanum Suchanda Varanam Balarka Chelanchitam Sandrananda Puram Sarekavaranam Vairagya Vidyambudim Sri Siddhanta Nidim Subhakti Lasitam Saraswatanam Varam Bandektam Shubharam Mareka Sharanam Nyashishvara Shidaram Vansha Kalpatarubhya Syakripa Sindhu Bhyevacha Patitanam Pavenibhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Nama Namo Mahavananyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gauratavishe Nama. So we're hearing from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita by Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, translation and commentary by Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupad. This is Madhya-lila chapter 16, the Lord's attempt to go to Vrindaban, and I'll start with verse number 206. Tahan hoite agagela Shivanandagar Vasudeva Grihe Pache Aila Ishwar. From the house of Srivas Thakur, the Lord went to the house of Shivananda Sen and then to the house of Vasudeva Datta. Vachaspate Grihe Prabhu Jemate Rohila Lokabira Baye Jaiche Kulia Aila. The Lord remained sometime at the house of Vidyavachaspati, but then, because it was too crowded, he went to Kulia. So the house of Vidyavachaspati is in Vidyanagar. And from there he went to Kulia, and Kulia is where the Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mutt is. But this is a brief description because it's talking about how the Lord desired to go to Vrindaban, but now we're hearing that too many people are following the Lord everywhere, so there are great crowds. And this proves to be, an impediment, a difficulty in going to Vrindaban, that so many people are going with Mahaprabhu. Madhavadasha grihe tata sachiranandan lakakoti Lokatata Pilot Darshan. When the Lord stayed at the house of Madhavadas, many hundreds of thousands of people came to see him. Shatadina Rohitata Loka Nishtarila Sab Aparade Gane Rakare Tarila. The Lord stayed there for 7 days and delivered all kinds of offenders and sinners. So where the Lord, when he visited Kulia, then that is known as Aparad Bhanjan Pot, where all the offenses are forgiven, and the Lord forgave so many different persons for their offenses, and then he proceeded on to Vrindaban. Shanti Puracharya Grihe Aiche Aila Sachi Mata Militara Dukkha Kandaila. After leaving Kulia, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu visited the house of Advaitacharya at Shantipur. It was there that the Lord's mother, Sachimata, met him and was thus relieved of her great unhappiness. Tabe Ramakeli Grame Prabhu Jaiche Gela Natashala Hoite Prabhu Puna Firiaila. The Lord then visited the village known as Ramakeli and the place known as Kanai Natashala. From there he returned to Shantipur. Shantipure Puna Koila Dashadina Abbas Vistare Varni Jachin Vrindavan Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stayed in Shantipur for 10 days. This has all been described very elaborately by Vrindaban Das Thakur. Ateva ihatara na koilun bistar punarukti hoy granta badaye apar. I will not narrate these incidents because they have already been described by Vrindaban Das Thakur. There is no need to repeat the same information, for such repetition would unlimitedly increase the size of this book. Taramadye milila chaiche rupa sanatan Nisringananda koile chaiche patera sajan. These narrations tell how Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu met the brothers Rupa and Sanatan and how Nisringananda decorated the road. I've already described these in an earlier synopsis of this book, therefore I will not repeat the narrations here. Punarapi Prabhu Jadi Shantipura Aila Raghunath Das Ashi Prabhu Ramalila. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu returned to Shantipur, Raghunath Das came to meet him. Hiranya Govardhan Dui Sahadar Saptagrame Baralaka Mudrara Ishwar. Two brothers named Hiranya and Govardhan, who were residents of Saptagram, had an annual income of 1,200,000 rupees. So they were like billionaires during this time of Mahaprabhu. These are the father and uncle of Raghunath Das Goswami. Hiranya Govardhan Dui Sahodar Saptagrami Baralaka Mudrara Ishwar. So Hiranya Majjumadar he's the uncle of Raghunath Das Goswami, and Govardhan Majjumadar is his father, and they're employed as tax collectors, but they're very rich. So actually, Raghunath Das, he grew when he had so much. His family had so much wealth, and yet he was very determined to leave that situation, leave wealth and wife and family, everything, and go with Mahaprabhu. Okay. Mahaishvarya Jukta Duhe Vadanya Brahmanya Sadachare Satak Satkulina Dharmikagra Ganya. Both Hiranya Majjumadar and Govardhan Majjumadar were very opulent and magnanimous. They were well behaved and devoted to Brahminical culture. They belonged to an aristocratic family, and among religionists they were predominant. So these two brothers, Hiranya Majjumadar and Govardhan Majjumadar, they were maintaining many of the Vaishnavas. They would help persons like Haridas Thakur and many of the Vaishnavas, and they're described as being very magnanimous, but they themselves are not really Vaishnavas. They're what you call almost Vaishnavas, or they're very magnanimous persons. But as we can see in the case of Govardhan Majjumadar, he would try everything to stop Raghunath Das Goswami, Raghunath, from leaving his home. And he even had 11 guards watching over him to make sure he did escape. So they're very pious and they help the Vaishnavas, and we have seen that persons who help the devotees, but they themselves don't want their own family members to join with the devotees. Naryabasi Brahmanera Upajibya Prai Arta Bhume, thank you, Gramadiya Korena Sahai Naryabasi Brahmanera Upajiya Prai Artabhumi Gramadiya Korena Sahai. Practically all the Brahmins residing in Nadia were dependent on the charity of Hiranya and Govardhan, who gave them money, land, and villages. Nilambara Chakravarti Aradya Duhar Chakravarti Kore Duhai Bratri Vyabahar. Nilambar Chakravarti, the grandfather of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, was much worshipped by the two brothers, but Nilambar Chakravarti used to treat them as his own brothers. Mishra Purandara Purbe Karyachan Sevane Ateva Prabhu Balo Jane Duijane. Formerly, these two brothers had rendered much service to Mishra Purandar, the father of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Because of this, the Lord knew them very well. Se Govardhaner Putra Raghunatha Das Bhaya Kalo Hoite Teho Vishaye Udas. Raghunath Das was the son of Govardhan Majumdar. From childhood, he was uninterested in material enjoyment. Sanyas Kore Prabhu Jabe Shanti Puraila Tabiashi Raghunatha Prabhu Ramelila. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu returned to Shantipur after accepting the renounced order, Raghunath Das met him. Prabhur Charane Pare Prima Vishta Hoya Prabhupada Sparsha Hoila Karuna Korea. When Raghunath Das went to see Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he fell at the Lord's lotus feet in ecstatic love. Showing him mercy, the Lord touched him with his feet. Tarapita Sarakore Acharya Sevan Ateva Charyatare Hoila Parasana. Raghunath Das's father, Govardhan, always rendered much service to Advaitacharya. Consequently, Advaitacharya was very pleased with the family. Acharya Prasade Paila Prabhur Uchishtapata Prabhura Chanana Deke Dina Panchashanta. When Raghunath Das was there, Advaitacharya favored him by giving him the food remnants left by the Lord. Raghunath Das was thus encouraged for 5 to 7, When Raghunath Das was there, Advaitacharya favored him by giving him the food remnants left by the Lord. Raghunath Das was thus engaged for 5 to 7 days in rendering service to the Lord's lotus feet. Prabhutare Vida Dia Gela Nilachala Te Hogare Ashe Hoila Premite Pagal. After bidding farewell to Raghunath Das, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu returned to Jagannath Puri. After returning home, Raghunath Das became mad with ecstatic love. Barabara Palai Teho Niladri Jaite Pitatare Bandirake Anepata Hoite. Raghunath Das used to run away from home again and again to go to Jagannath Puri, but his father kept binding him and bringing him back. Pancha Paika Tare Rake Ratri Dine Chare Seva Dui Brahmana Rohe Tarasane. His father even had 5 watchmen guard him day and night. 4 personal servants were employed to look after his comfort, and 2 Brahmins were employed to cook for him. Ekadasha Janatare Rake Nirantar Nilachale Chaitena Pai Dukita Antar. In this way, 11 people were incessantly keeping Raghunath Das under control. Thus he could not go to Jagannath Puri, and because of this, he was very unhappy. Ebe Jadima Prabhu Shanti Puraila Shunya Pitare Raghunatha Nivedila. When Raghunath Das learned that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu when Raghunath Das learned that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had arrived at Shantipur, he submitted a request to his father. Agyadeho Janadeki Prabhura Charan Anyatana Rahimor Sharire Jivan. Raghunath Das asked his father, please give me permission to go see the lotus feet of the Lord. If you do not, my life will not remain within this body. So he's very determined to see Mahaprabhu when Mahaprabhu went to Shantipur. Shunitara Pita Bahu Lokadravya Diya Pataila Boli Shigra Asya Virya. Hearing this request, Raghunath Das' father agreed, giving him many servants and materials. The father sent him to see Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, requesting him to return soon. Shatadin Shantipure Prabhu Sange Rohe Ratri Divase E Manakata Kohe. For 7 days, Raghunath Das associated with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Shantipur. During those days and nights, he had the following thoughts. Raka kera hate mui kemone chutiba kemone prabhura sange nilachale jab. Raghunath Das thought, how shall I be able to get free from the hands of the watchmen? How shall I be able to go with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to Nilachala? Sarvagya Goranga Prabhu Janitaraman Shikarupe Kohetare Ashvasavachan. Since Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was omniscient, he could understand Raghunath Das's mind. The Lord therefore instructed him with the following reassuring words. Stira hoya gare jao nahao batula krame krame pailok baba sindhu kula. Be patient and return home. Don't be a crazy fellow. By and by you will be able to cross the ocean of material existence. So Mahaprabhu told Raghunath Das, just be patient and don't become crazy trying to escape the situation. If you will be able to understand how to escape, but you have to become calm and patient. Markata vairagyana koralok dekaya jata jogya vishay bunja anasaktahaya. You should not make yourself a show-bottle devotee and become a false renunciant. For the time being, enjoy the material world in a befitting way, and do not become attached to it. So Markata Vairagya refers to monkey renunciation, and Mahaprabhu is telling him, don't just become falsely renounced and act like a crazy person. Because Raghunath Das' situation is, he's a grihasta, he's married, he has a wife, and his family, especially his rich family, they will try to stop Raghunath Das from running away and going to be with Mahaprabhu. But Mahaprabhu tells him, don't act like a monkey renunciant or a false renunciant. And gradually you'll be able to understand things, and if you act with patience, then you can escape. Antare nishtakora Vayeloka Vyavahar Achirat Krishna Tomai Koribe Udar. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu continued, within your heart you should keep yourself very faithful, but externally you may behave like an ordinary man. Thus Krishna will soon be very pleased. And deliver you from the clutches of Maya. Vrindavan deki chabe asiba nilachale tabe tumi amapasha asiya konchale. You may see me at Nilachala Jagannath Puri when I return after visiting Vrindavan. By that time you can think of some trick to escape. Se chalo se kale Krishna surabe tomare Krishna kripa jare thare ke rokite pare. What kind of means you will have to use at that time will be revealed by Krishna. If one has Krishna's mercy, no one can check him. So, say chala. Whatever trick, whatever means you have to use to escape will be revealed when the proper time comes. If one has Krishna's mercy, no one can check him. So, Mahaprabhu gives Raghunath Das, just be calm and Krishna will reveal to you how to escape. Ite kohe Mahaprabhu tare Vidai-lila Karyasi Mahaprabhu Shika Acharila. In this way, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu bade farewell to Raghunath Das, who returned home and did exactly what the Lord told him. Maya Vairagya Batulata Sakala Chariya Jata Jogya Karya Kore Anasakta Haya. After returning home, Raghunath Das gave up all craziness and external pseudo-renunciation and engaged in his household duties without attachment. Dekitara Pitamata Bora Sukapaila Tahara Avarana Kichu Shitila Hoya. When Raghunath Das's father and mother saw that their son was acting like a householder, like a grihastha, they became very happy. Because of this, they slackened their guard. So immediately there's some result from Mahaprabhu's instruction that they're not keeping him so closely watched. Ihan Prabhu Ekatra Kore Sarvabhauma Advaita Nityanandadi Chatabhaktajan Sabalingana Kore Kohena Gosai Sabe Agya Deho Ame Nilachala Jai. Meanwhile, at Shantipur, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu assembled all the devotees, headed by Advaitacharya and Sri Nityananda Prabhu, embraced them all and asked their permission to return to Jagannath Puri. Sabara Sahita Ihan Amara Hoila Milan Evarsha Niladri Keho Nakuriya Gaman. Because he had met them all at Shantipur, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu requested all the devotees not to go to Jagannath Puri that year. So Mahaprabhu, basically this chapter is a resume, and it's talking about how Mahaprabhu tried to go to Vrindaban on his first trip from Jagannath Puri, but he didn't. He got as far as Nilachala. He saw Rupa and Sanatan Goswami, but there were too many people following Mahaprabhu. So then he returned back to Shantipur, met with the devotees. He met with Raghunath Das also, and then he returned back to Jagannath Puri. But Mahaprabhu indicated he would try to go to Vrindaban another time. That this time he was not successful because too many people were following him, but he would try again. And that time we know on that next trip he would go through. He would travel not through Bengal, but he would go through Jharkhand, through the jungles of Jharkhand. Naturally, on that trip through the jungle, no persons would follow him. Because he met them all at Shantipur, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu requested all the devotees not to go to Jagannath Puri that year. tahan hoite avashami Vrindavana jab, sabe agya deho tabe, nirvigne asiva. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, I shall certainly go to Vrindaban from Jagannath Puri. If all of you give me permission, I shall return here again without difficulty. Matara charane dore bahu vinay korila Vrindavana jaite tara agyo loila. Clasping the feet of his mother, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu very humbly requested her permission. Thus she gave him leave to go to Vrindavan. So then there is some importance to this first trip, although he doesn't get to Vrindavan. He said Mahaprabhu said when he was beginning the trip that he would visit Janavi and Janani. He would go see the Ganges River. That's Janavi and Janani. He would see his mother. And in seeing his mother, he had told her he would go to Jagannath Puri and would not go all the way to Vrindavan to live because she was afraid she would never see him again. So he told her, I will stay in Jagannath Puri. But now he wants to go to Vrindavan, not to stay permanently in Vrindavan, but still he asked his mother for permission to go to Vrindavan, and she gave him that permission. So then he also, the very main point also of this first trip to Vrindavan is to go to Ramakeli and meet with Rupa and Sanatan, who are caught within, they're ministers in the Muslim government, and they've written to Mahaprabhu and they want to leave their material life and they want to join Mahaprabhu's mission. So Mahaprabhu met with them in Ramakeli, and then Rupa Goswami was able to escape, but Sanatan Goswami, whose elder, was a very close minister in the government of the Nawab. So when Sanatan Goswami knew he would never be able to escape unless he changed his situation. So he did things to fall into the not be so appreciated by the Nawab. He'd stay home, study with Brahmins, and hear the scriptures, in particular Srimad Bhagavatam. And then the Nawab came to see him and said, I heard you're sick and not coming to do your job, but I see that you're not sick. And then Sanatan Goswami said, you can no longer depend on me for my duties. And then he was placed in jail. Tabe nabadi petare dila pataya niladri chalila sange bhaktaganaloya. Srimati Sachi Devi was sent back to Navadip, and the Lord and his devotees started for Jagannath Puri, Niladri. Se sab lokapate korana sevan suke Nilachala aila sachira nandan. The devotees who accompanied Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu rendered all kinds of service on the way to Nilachala, Jagannath Puri. Thus in great happiness the Lord returned. So, Tabe Navadi Petari Dila Pataya Niladri Chalila Sange Bhaktaganaloya. Srimati Sachi Devi was sent back to Navadip, and the Lord and his devotees started for Jagannath Puri Niladri. The devotees who accompanied Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu rendered all kinds of service on the way to Nilachala, Jagannath Puri. Thus, in great happiness, the Lord returned. So this is the Lord's first attempt to go to Vrindavan. He got as far as Ramakeli and turned back. Prabhu Ase Jagannath Darshan Koila Mahaprabhu Aila Grame Kolahala Hoila. When Mahaprabhu arrived in Jagannath Puri, he visited the temple of the Lord. News then spread all over the city that he had returned. Anandita Bhaktagan Asya Milila Prema Lingana Prabhu Sabare Korila. All the devotees then came and met the Lord with great happiness. The Lord embraced each of them in great ecstatic love. Kashi Mishra Ramananda Pradyumna Sarvabhauma Vaninatha Shikyad Adi Jata Bhaktagan. Kashi Mishra Ramananda Roy, Pradyumna, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, Vaninath Roy, Shiki Mahiti, and all the other devotees met Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Gadadhar Pandit Ase Prabhu Ray Milila Sabara Agrete Prabhu Kahite Lagila. Gadadhar Pandit also came and met the Lord. Then before all the devotees, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu began to speak as follows. Vrindavana Jab Ami Godadesha Diya Nija Matar Gangara Charana Dekiya. It was my decision to go to Vrindaban through Bengal in order to see my mother in the river Ganges. Etamate kore koilun godere gaman sahasreka sange hoila nijabhaktagan. Thus I went to Bengal, but thousands of devotees began to follow me. Lakalak lok aise kotika dekite lokera sangate pata nachare chalite. Many hundreds of thousands of people came to see me out of curiosity, and due to such a large crowd, I could not travel very freely on the road. Jatarohe tatagar prachira hoya churna jatanetra pare tata lokadeki purna. Indeed, the crowd was so large that the house and the boundary walls of the house where I stayed were destroyed, and wherever I looked I could see only large crowds. Kashte Shristye Kori Gelaya Ramakeli Gram Amara Tai Ila Rupa Sanatana Nam. With great difficulty I went to the town of Ramakeli, where I met two brothers named Rupa and Sanatan. And they met, Mahaprabhu met with Rupa and Sanatan, and he was able to advise them how they could get out of the situation of they practically lost their caste, they lost everything, they were in the Muslim government, and Mahaprabhu recruited them to become Rupa and Sanatan Goswami. But in doing so, Mahaprabhu went to Ramakeli, which was the center of the Muslim government, and in so doing, with such a large crowd, there could be some danger posed to Mahaprabhu, because the Muslim government is always thinking they don't want some prophet to appear among the Hindus who will lead them. So when they see someone like Mahaprabhu with so many thousands of people with him, then that poses a danger to Mahaprabhu. Therefore, Sanatan Goswami advised Mahaprabhu, this is not the way to go to Vrindaban. You should not go to Vrindaban with so many people. And then Mahaprabhu, accepting the advice of Sanatan Goswami, decided to return to Jagannath Puri, because it's the only way. If he proceeded, the crowd would follow him, and this would not be the way to go to Vrindaban. So, with great difficulty, I went to the town of Ramakeli, where I met two brothers named Rupa and Sanatan. Duibai Bhakta Raja Krishna Kripa Patra Vyabahare Raja Mantri Hoy Raja Patra. These two brothers are great devotees and suitable recipients of Krishna's mercy, but in their ordinary dealings they are government officials, ministers to the king. Vidya Bhakti Buddhi Bole Parama Praveen tabu apanake mane trina hoite hina. Srila Rupa and Sanatan are very much experienced in education, devotional service, intelligence, and strength, yet they think themselves inferior to straw in the street. Taradonya de kishuni pashana vidare amitushta hoya tabe koilun dohare utamahoya hina kori manaha apanare achire koribe Krishna tomara udare. Indeed, the humility of these two brothers could even melt stone, because I was very pleased with their behavior. I told them, although you are both very much exalted, you consider yourselves inferior, and because of this, Krishna will very soon deliver you. Eta koheyami jabe vidai taridila gamana kale sanatana praheli kohila. After speaking to them in this way, I bade them farewell. As I was leaving, Sanatan told me, it is not appropriate for one to be followed by a crowd of thousands when going to Vrindaban. Tabuami shunilun matra not koilun abadan Pratechali Island, Kanaira Natashalagram. Although I heard this, I did not pay it any attention. And in the morning I went to the place named Kanai Natashala. Ratri Kali Mani Ami Vichar Gorila Sanatana Mora Kiba Praheli Kohila. At night, however, I considered what Sanatan had told me. So Mahaprabhu went to a place called Kanai Natashala, and Srila Guru Maharaj has explained that Kanai Natashala is like Harital. Harital, they're near the Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat. There's a place named Harital, place of the Lord, and Kanai Natashala. Kanai refers to Krishna. So it's a place where they have dioramas and many things to, as a holy place where they can have kirtan and everything like this. So Mahaprabhu went to Kanai Natashala, but then that night, when he first left, he did not think so much about what Sanatan Goswami had told him, that this is not the way to go to Vrindaban with so many people. But at night, however, I consider what Sanatan had told me. Balata kohila mora eta lokasange lokadeki kohibe more ek dange. I decided that Sanatan had spoken very well. I was certainly being followed by a large crowd. And when people would see so many men, they would surely rebuke me, saying, "Here is another impostor." Durlabha Durgama se Nirjana Vrindavan Ekaki Jaiba Kiba Sange Ekjan. I then began to consider that Vrindavan is a very solitary place. It is invincible and very difficult to attain. I therefore decided to go there alone, or at the utmost with only one person. Mahavendra Puri Tata Gela Ekeshware Dugdadana Chale Krishna Sakat Dilatare. Madhavendra Puri went to Vrindaban alone, and Krishna, on the pretext of giving him milk, granted him an audience. Badijara Bajipati Chalilana Tatare Bahusange Vrindavana Gamanakore. I then understood I was going to Vrindavan like a magician with his show, and this is certainly not good. No one should go to Vrindavan with so many men. Ekjaiba Kiba Sange Britya Ekjan Tabise Shobaya Vrindavanera Gaman. I have therefore resolved to go alone, or at the utmost with one servant. In this way, my journey to Vrindavan will be beautiful. Vrindavana Jab Kahan Ekaki Hana Sanya Sange Chalijachi Daka Bhajana. I thought instead of going to Vrindaban alone, I am going with soldiers and the beating of drums. Dik dik apanake bole hoilana astir nivrita hayapuna ailana gangatira. I therefore said, fie upon me, which means Mahaprabhu is saying, this is not, he is saying, fie upon me, which means, no, this, I should not do this. I therefore said, fie upon me, and being very much agitated, I returned to the banks of the Ganges. Bhaktagane Rakiya Ainu Nija Nijastane Amasange Aila Sabe Pancha Chaya Jane. I then left all the devotees there and brought only 5 to 7 persons with me. Nirvigne Ebe Kaiche Jaiba Vrindavane Sabe Mele Juti Deho Oya Parasane. Now I wish that you all will be pleased with me and give me good counsel. Tell me how I shall be able to go to Vrindaban without impediments. Gadadhar Charigenu Ihoduka Paila Se Hetu Vrindavana Jaite Nariya. I left Gadadhar Pandit here, and he became very unhappy. For this reason, I could not go to Vrindaban. Gadadhar Pandit followed Mahaprabhu, and Mahaprabhu told him, you can't break your vow of Kshetra Sannyas. You made a vow to stay in Puri, and also you promised to serve the deity of Tota Gopinath. So now you've come this far, and I cannot tolerate this. You must go back to Jagannath Puri and return to your service and not break your vow. But here, Mahaprabhu said, I left Gadadhar Pandit here, and he became very unhappy. For this reason, I could not go to Vrindaban. So it's a very nice thing to say. Tabe Gadadhar Pandita Primavishta Hoya Prabhupada Dori Kohe Vinoi Korea. Being encouraged by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's words, Gadadhar Pandit became absorbed in ecstatic love. Immediately clasping the lotus feet of the Lord, he began to speak with great humility. Tumi Jahan Jahan Raha Tahan Vrindavan Tahan Jamuna Ganga Sarvatirthagan. Gadadhar Pandit said, wherever you stay is Vrindaban, as well as the river Jamuna, the river Ganges, and all their places of pilgrimage. Tabu Vrindavana Jaha Loka Niksha Shikaite Tabu Vrindavana Jaha Loka Shikaite Seta Koribe Tomar J Loya Chite. Although wherever you stay is Vrindaban, you will still go to Vrindaban just to instruct people. Otherwise you will do whatever you think best. So, in other words, Gadadhar Mahaprabhu said I could not go because I made Gadadhar Pandit unhappy and had to leave him, and then now Gadadhar Pandit, you could say he's also giving his blessings, saying, no, I know you will go to Vrindavan, you will go successfully. E age aila Prabhu varshara charimas, e charimasha kora Nilachala. Taking this opportunity, Gadadhar Pandit said, just now the 4 months of the rainy season, which is Chaturmasha, have begun. You should therefore spend the next 4 months in Jagannath Puri. So now yesterday was the Purnima, so the Chaturmasha is now finished here. But when Mahaprabhu returned to Puri, then Gadadhar Pandit, Chaturmasha was just beginning. So taking this opportunity, Gadadhar Pandit said, just now the 4 months of the rainy season have begun. You should therefore spend the next 4 months in Jagannath Puri. This was not a time to travel during the rainy season. Pachiyashi achariva jetomaraman apuna ichaya chala rohat Kekore Varan. After remaining here for 4 months, you will be free to do as you like. Actually, no one can stop you from going or remaining. Shunisa Bhakta Kohe Prabhupada Charane Sabakar Icha Pandit Koila Nivedane. Upon hearing this statement, the devotees present at the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stated that Gadadhar Pandit had properly presented their desire. Sabar Ichai Prabhu Charimasha Rohila Shunya Prataparudra Anandita Hoila. Being requested by all the devotees, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu agreed to remain at Jagannath Puri for 4 months. Hearing this, King Prataparudra became very happy. Saydin Gadadhar Koila Nimantran Tahan Bika Koila Prabhu Loya Bhaktagan. That day, Gadadhar Pandit extended an invitation to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and the Lord took his lunch at his place with the other devotees. Bikate Panditer Sneho Prabhu Ashradan Manushyara Shakti Dui Nakchai Varnan. No ordinary human being can possibly describe Gadadhar Pandit's affectionate presentation of food or Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's tasting this food. Emata Goralila Nantapar Sankepe Kohiye Kahana Jai Vishtar. In this way, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu performs his pastimes which are unlimited and unfathomable. Somehow or other, these have briefly been described. It is not possible to describe them elaborately. Sahasrabharane Kohe Apane Ananta Tabu Ek Lilarateho Nahi Pai Anta. Although Lord Anantadev is always describing the pastimes of the Lord with his thousands of mouths, he cannot reach the end of even one of the Lord's pastimes. Shri Rupa Raghunath Parijara As Chaitanya Charitamrita Kohe Krishnadas. Praying at the lotus feet of Shri Rupa and Shri Raghunath, always desiring their mercy, I, Krishnadas, narrate Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, following in their footsteps. Thus, and the Bhaktivedanta purports to Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya-lila, 16th chapter, describing Lord Chaitanya's attempt to go to Vrindaban. Oh, in the next chapter, we'll hear about the Lord's going to Vrindaban successfully. Okay, now I'll sing Hari Harai. Very nice that you play that mridanga, because the person who brought me to the mission 50-some years ago, he was the one who first made this Balaram mridanga. His name is Ishan Das.
Oh, like Ishan, like little Ishan.
Hari Haraya Nama Krishna Jaravaya Nama Haraya Jaravaya Maravaya Keshavaya Nama Gopal Govinda Ram Shimari Sudan Giridhari Gopinatha Marana Mohan Sri Chaitanya Nityananda Sri Advaita Chandra Gadadhar Shiva Sari Gora Bhaktivedanta Jai Rupa Sanatan Bhattacharya Rasa Raguna Jai Gosai Jarmi Saradas Jai Gosai Sasabar Pada Renu Mora Panchagas Jai Gosai Kori Charana Bandhan
Jai Gosai Kori Charana Bandhan
Jao Te Vignana Shabishta Puran Jai Gosai Jarmui Pasabar Pada Renu Mora Panchagas Hare Janana Sevi Bhakta Sanibas Janame Janame More Abila Jai Gosai Jabe Braje Koilaban Radha Krishna Nitya Lila Korila Pratan Anande Bolo Hari Bhaja Vrindaban Shri Guru Vaishnava Pade Madhya-lila Shri Guru Vaishnava Padma Koriya Harinam Sankirtana Kohe Narakamuda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Jai Saparikara Shishi Guru Guranga Gandharvika Giridhari Joki Jai. Jai Om Vishnu Pad Paramahansa Paravajakacharya Ashtatara Sada Shishi Mad Srila Bhakti Tilak Neriya Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnu Pad Paramahansa Paravajakacharya Ashtatara Sada Shishi Mad Srila Bhakti Nirmal Acharya Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnu Pad Paramahansa Paravajakacharya Ashtatara Sada Shishi Mad Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnu Pad Paramahansa Paravajakacharya Ashtatara Sada Shishi Mad Srila Bhakti Rakak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Rupanuga Guru Bharga Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Shri Rupa Sanatana Bhatta Ragana, Shri Jiva Gopal Bhattacharya Ragana, Shad Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai, Premsiko Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasudeva Shri Gaura Bhattacharya Ki Jai. Vishwabharan Jai, Shri Vrindaban Das Thakur Ki Jai, Sri Chaitanya Bhagwat Ki Jai, Jai Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai, Jai Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Ki Jai. Jai Narottam Srinivas Shamananda Prabhu Ki Jai. Vishvavarenya Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupad Ki Jai. Jai Srila Bhakti Kusham Ashram Maharaj Ki Jai. Anandakoti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Sri Navadip Dham Ki Jai. Sri Mayapur Ki Jai. Saparshada Sri Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai. Saparshada Sriman Mahaprabhu Ki Jai. Sri Koladvi Ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Ki Jai. Soquel Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Sevashram Ki Jai. Ganga Devi Ki Jai. Tulasi Maharani Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Sri Vrindaban Dham Ki Jai. Shri Radha Krishna Gopi Govardhan Shyam Kana Radha Kunda Kalindi Yamuna Jo Ki Jai. Shri Purushottam Dham Ki Jai. Baladev Subhadra Jagannath Jo Ki Jai. Bhakti Vigna Vinashaya Sri Nrsingadev Ki Jai. Bhakta Prabhara Shri Prahlad Maharaj Ki Jai. Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. All the assembled devotees Ki Jai. Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo.
Srila Bhakti